Hi, everybody. I'm Nancy Matthews. I am the Starch Queen of Hearts. And on March 1st was my 6-year anniversary of being whole food plant-based. I have shed 105 pounds following a whole food plant-based lifestyle. And for the last few years, by omitting salt, oil, and sugar and overcoming food addiction. We'll always have food addiction issues, but I've learned the tools, and now Jean and I are educating everybody on the same tools so that we can help you shed weight and get healthy. And I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Jean Schumacher, my Queen of Diamonds.
Good evening. And my journey started with a trip to the emergency room. And I think we all have to have that hit that brick in the wall moment and come to the realization that you have to change what you're doing. And I'm almost coming up on my 100-pound mark. So almost going to hit it soon, real soon. So I'm excited about that. And I've changed my health destiny, and I've learned along the way what to do. So I'm kind of excited to help you guys help change your health destiny, because you can do it. If Nancy and I can do it, the biggest food addicts on the planet will be the first one.
Anybody can do it.
I'm Jean Schumacher. I'm a food addict. So.
Right. So the great news is that all of you can overcome it, and you can get healthy. You can shed weight. You can overcome arthritis, type 2 diabetes. You can overcome many heart disease. That's huge. Type 2 diabetes. People with lupus. I mean, all of these things are just truly reversible through this lifestyle. And we have a program that will help you figure out how to do it and coach you along the way. So this is our Talking Tuesdays with the Starch Queens. This is where Jean and I take our group members' questions and your questions. So feel free to ask any questions, comment below. We're monitoring the questions. But right now we have questions from our group members that we always take first. Our first question is from Susan Cooper. Susan Cooper asks, what is B12? Why do we need it? How often should we supplement? And what is the best source of B12 for vegans and people who eat plant-based? We're also going to take that to the next step level, because that's the next higher level, because that's what Jean does. And she's going to also talk about supplements. Take it away, Starch Queen of Diamonds.
Okay. So B12 it's a nutrient, and it's something that, first of all, we can't get. If you're plant-based, you've got to take it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's a bacteria that was found in the soil. And I guess as we've become more clean, we wash our foods and things like that, so we don't have the bacteria that we used to have on our foods. So vitamin B12 helps to keep the body's nerves and the blood cells healthy. It helps you to make your DNA, the genetic materials that are in your cells. It also helps to prevent a certain type of anemia. So, it's also, I just did a series with Dr. Neil Barnard. We're working on power foods for the brain. And the first one's already posted. It's on my YouTube channel. This one we just talked about was talking about the combination of vitamin B12, folic acid, and vitamin B6 in combination to each other to reduce the homocysteine levels in your body. So these have been noted to reduce that. The homocysteine has had a direct correlation they've talked about with dementia, Alzheimer's. So how much do we need? Great question. You only need a very, very small amount. And none of the supplements that are out there on the market can give that small a dose. So you only need like about 2.5 micrograms approximately, give or take. I've found different amounts, but small amounts right around that area. So you can get that from supplements. Now, there's no food that has vitamin B12 in it, plant-based foods. Okay, so we do have to get a supplement. Vitamin B12 deficiency is going to cause things like tiredness, weakness, constipation, loss of appetite, anemia, a certain type of anemia. Certain nerve problems that it can cause is, tingling in your hands and feet can occur. There can also be issues with balance, depression, confusion, dementia, poor memory, and soreness of the mouth and tongue. So basically it can cause some serious nerve damage. There's two forms of vitamin B12. There's cyanocobalamin, and the other one is methylcobalamin. Now, I've heard both sides of and I don't claim to be an expert. I just read a lot. and I share what I find. So the cyanocobalamin, it contains a cyanide molecule. And there are, I mean, the last time I checked, in chemistry, cyanide, not a good thing. They say from a, toxicology point that it's an insignificant amount. But the bottom line is for me, because I'm a bottom line kind of person, if it's in your body, you have to deal with it. That's the bottom line. So why? Now, there's some people I've heard say that the cyanocobalamin is more readily absorbed than the methylcobalamin. Okay. Anyway, I don't know. The cyanocobalamin it has cyanide. So I say, I prefer not to have cyanide in my body. I've heard also that the methylcobalamin is better absorbed, and that there is certain amounts that's retained better in your tissues.
That's what they sell at True North. That's what they have on their website at True North is the methyl. Yes.
Well, and I prefer, I've looked at several different ones, and my go-to is I like the Garden of Life My Kind Organics for this. They have an organic B12 spray, and it's 500 micrograms. Far more than you will ever need. Now, first of all, this is fat soluble, so it's going to stay in your fat, and it's bioaccumulative.
I thought vitamin B was water soluble.
Good question, but I think it's. I thought you stored it. So that would be in the fat.
You do, because Dr. McDougall tells us you got 5 years after you become vegan before you need a supplement. Three. Is it 3? What he says? 3.
3.
Yeah. Yep.
So anyway, but you still need to have it. So what I do is I take the Garden of Life My Kind of Organics. I have it on my shelf in my kitchen. On Saturdays, I walk by. I take that. I spray a half a spray. That's it, and I'm done. I've had mine tested. It's all good. So, yeah.
Excellent. So that's what I do too.
Yep. So that's the vitamin D12. I mean, the B12, sorry.
Getting our consonants confused.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk a little bit. I wanted to take it to the next level because that's what we do here at the Starch Queens. Because we had a question in our group on the Starch Queens, the weight loss program, about vitamin D. Because I live in Connecticut, New York, that area, Westchester, and it's cold up here. It's winter. I don't get much sun, and I work inside. I'm not outside in the sun, especially in the winter time. So, and I just had my vitamin D levels tested, and they were low. So the problem, with vitamin D, it's not really a vitamin. It's in the vitamin family, but here's the problem. It's something that we make ourselves in our body. Okay?
On our skin.
Yes. When you go outside in the sun, the ultraviolet radiation that goes into your skin is going to convert it into the vitamin D. Now, here's the problem, and when I've heard some controversy about the vitamin D, Dr. McDougall has a great article about the vitamin D on his website, and he says basically go outside and get in the sun. Well, okay, but I can't. Like during the day, I'm teaching all day, I'm inside an office. If I can, it's great. So,
same thing.
In the wintertime, then I need to supplement. When I get out in the spring, I'm outside. I like to go outside when I have a free period. Sometimes I like to go out and take a walk, that kind of thing. At lunchtime, I get outside and take a walk if I can. So and then I don't tend to supplement. But in the wintertime, my vitamin D stores do get low. So, and I just had mine tested. So there's 2 different types, and I've been hearing about vitamin D2 and there's vitamin D3. So the big thing is the vitamin D3 in traditional ways it's taken from, it could be from fish, the oil from fish, but also it's made from the lanolin of sheep. So the oil is taken off the sheep, they shear the sheep and then they take out the lanolin, and it's a huge process. Anyway, so there's 2.
We're sorry.
Thank you,
Sometimes
Nancy.
don't.
You just derailed my train. Okay, so vitamin D2 and D3. So vitamin D3 is from, primarily they make it from the lanolin of sheep, of wool. So they pull that out. The vitamin D2 they have been making from, as a vegan source, but I've been reading in several different places. Some say it's great, some say it's not, but it's not, from what I've been reading, it's not as readily absorbed. So I did find, I went to I loved going to the My Kind Organics. They have two different types, and they actually have a vitamin D3 that is completely vegan. So interesting.
That's the one I take, and it's liquid.
Yep. So it was interesting. Well, they have one as a liquid, one as a pill form. The liquid, though, is oil-based. So they use a pumpkin oil. So anyway. So I just wanted to give a little bit of information about the vitamin D because it is kind of important. It is it's a neuroregulatory steroidal hormone that influences nearly 3,000 different genes in your bodies. These receptors respond to the vitamin that have been found in almost every type of human cell, from your brain to your bones. Okay? So you really want to make sure that you do have this. It also plays a role in calcium absorption as well. So,
yeah, and I want to also point out, too, the fact that whether you're whole food plant-based or you eat the standard American diet, having your vitamin D level checked with your annual physical exam is a must, because people in our age group, people who are younger, we all work, the majority of people work indoors, and we're not out there, depending on where you live in the hemisphere, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. You may not by default get enough sun, and vitamin D is critical in overall health.
Right. So the other thing is vitamin D is also, it helps to regulate your ability to fight infections as well as chronic inflammation.
Yes.
And it produces over 200 microbial peptides, which are a naturally occurring broad-spectrum antibiotic. So this is why it can help. It's so effective in helping against colds and influenza. So take it away, Nancy.
All right. So vitamin B12, vitamin D are musts for everybody. So we had a question come in from one of our Starch Queen members, Karen. Karen is new to the lifestyle, is struggling with the grocery store, struggling with how do I transition, how do I stay committed, and how do I navigate through recipes to grocery shopping to figuring out portion controls or quantities in recipes. And so we're going to break it down real simple for you. So here is Karen's question. I was wondering if there was a way you could take me through a grocery store or a Costco and tell me what to buy for my husband and I for 1 week. Something for a really basic first week of Starch Queens eating. I can get really frustrated with recipes, learning to cook, plant-based, and food storage. So with the Starch Queens program, we offer a week of meal planning, recipes, and all of that. But for somebody who's new to the lifestyle, it can be completely new. And how do you do it?
Overwhelming.
So it's overwhelming. I mean, when I first started 6 years ago, it was like, okay, well, I used to go to the grocery store, but I mostly went to the drive-through fast food because, I really didn't do a lot of grocery shopping. And that's what the majority of the public does is it's like 6 o'clock at night. Kids are hungry. Husband's hungry. We're going to order a pizza. So we don't really have and can't go to school for grocery store shopping school. There is no such thing. I think that there should be. So this is part of what we're going to help you do with the Starch Queens. So Karen, rest assured, grocery shopping and the grocery store can actually be your friend. Don't get panicky when you walk in and think, oh my goodness, what do I get? The most important thing that you can do is dedicate time to making a list. And with the Starch Queens program, we have everything laid out for you. You just take your list, go and buy, and specifically buy from the list. So if you're going to go to the grocery store, the produce aisle is generally in the front, or the produce section. So in the produce section is where you're going to find all of your salad greens, your starches like potatoes, fresh corn, canned and frozen corn you're going to find in the freezer section. So lettuce, greens, tomatoes, onions, potatoes, all of those whole food fresh items are going to be in the produce section. And spend time. That's one of the things that I learned, is that I would go to the grocery store as if it was like going to an amusement park, because there's things there that it was like, oh wow, I've never seen that before, and what the hell is that? I mean, it was like a whole new world opened up. So take time. Don't think you're going to rush in there and you're going to just get these things off of the shelf or off of the produce thing and think that you're going to it's going to be done. No, this is something that we all have to learn to do, and that's shop. So produce section is where you're going to find all your fresh vegetables and
Right.
fresh fruits, bananas, apples, oranges. You know, you're going to get your carrots. All of those things that are on your list is in one really easy, accessible area called the produce department. Then next, you're going to go to the freezer section. Now, both Jean and I are huge fans of frozen fruit and frozen vegetables. And the reason why is because generally frozen fruit and frozen vegetables are picked at their peak of ripeness, where fresh produce is coming from Chile, Mexico. It's coming in from other countries. I mean, in California, we do have a lot of fresh produce here, but still this time of the year we don't. So it's important to really find the frozen fruits that you like and the frozen vegetables. So the frozen section is great. We love frozen corn, frozen peas, frozen broccoli, frozen cauliflower. In the freezer section is frozen rice and even frozen beans and frozen potatoes. But you need to pay close attention, because the many of the frozen potatoes, like the frozen hash browns, they have salt and oil in them. It's a lot easier to just boil up some russet potatoes, put them in the refrigerator, and then if you want to have some, and Cassie says they're really easy to steam. You can just take a cooked potato and just shred it. And then you got instant hash browns. So the freezer section is where you're going to get all of your your frozen fruits and vegetables, and stock up on them. Fill your freezer with them. That's our go-to. I call it our safety net. We have our safety net. We actually have 2 fridges. We have 2 freezers, and they're both stocked, because life happens. You can't always get your batch cooking done, but you can always go to the freezer and get the frozen bag of corn, the frozen bag of peas, and a frozen bag of rice, or rice that you have batch cooked the week before or that week. Throw it in the steamer, steam it up, add some beans, and you have a delicious, beautiful, starch-based meal. Absolutely right. Wonderful. Then the next section that you want to pay, thanks, Andy. I love you, Andy. Andy's my brother's lifelong best friend. We grew up together. So anyway, next section is the canned vegetable section. I'm not a big fan of canned vegetables. They usually have a lot of sodium. And if you know, last week we talked a lot about sodium. Not our friend. You can get no salt added canned vegetables. If you can find them, great. Perfect. They're just more expensive than the frozen. Canned beans, canned pinto beans, canned black beans, canned garbanzo beans, canned kidney beans. Kidney beans and garbanzo beans are fantastic on salads. Pintos and blacks, I love in everything. And so, you know, that's the simplest thing, is to get those can sections. But then the seasoning section, you're just going to go to the seasoning section, and you're going to get Mrs. Dash. Any type of no salt seasoning is really good and adds a lot of flavor to your meal. And then the canned tomato aisle, diced tomatoes, fire roasted tomatoes, tomato sauce, whole tomatoes. Always make sure that there's no added oil or no added salt. We use canned tomatoes in soups all the time. And I really, really like the fire roasted tomatoes. They're fantastic. They just give a little bit of kick, a little bit of extra flavor. And then just stay out of the box aisle. I call it the box aisle. It's your grocery store aisle that is boxed cereals, it's boxed crackers, it's boxed hamburger helper. It's all the stuff that's boxed, that's highly processed food. Yes. It's full of salt, oil, and sugar. It's hyper palatable on your tongue. It's going to make your dopamine receptors light up. And most of all, they're very calorie dense. foods. So you want to stay away from the box style. But the biggest thing is, Karen, is to take your time. This is a journey. It's not a marathon. I mean, it is a marathon. It's not a race. So you want to take your time in the grocery store and embrace the fact that this has changed. When we're outside of our comfort zone is when we have our panic attacks, is when we feel like we can't be successful. It's when you know your why, you know you want to get healthy, you have to say, okay, I'm going to dedicate a half a day to learning this. It is education. It's lifestyle education. It's nutrition education. And it's no different than if I was to, go walk in, and Jean and I were going to walk into somebody, a brain surgery. We would have a panic attack. We didn't learn this instantly overnight too. This was, this has been going on for 6 years. Sure, we all knew back then, back before I was plant-based, I went and grabbed a package of hamburger, a package of turkey, some hamburger helper, some potatoes, rice, and half the time the fruits and vegetables all rotted in the refrigerator because we ended up going out to dinner 90% of the time. I mean, I'd say a good half of our paycheck was going to restaurants. So and we were 100 pounds overweight. So this is how you have to embrace change, is accept that it's going to take time, plan and prepare. Just like we say on the weekends when we say shop, chop, and prep, it's the same that applies to the grocery store. When you go to Costco, produce. All the produce that's there, indulge yourself. But then again, with Costco, you have to be very careful about the size of the packages. If it's just you or you and a husband, then you may not want to get those big Costco size boxes of grapes or the big flat of apples, because it's not financially feasible for you to throw food away. So this again goes into education and what you're going to learn, but maybe it is cost effective to get the big bag of potato because you're going to batch cook those. We have those during our potato hour. They're great snacks. So these are the things that you have to work out. But the most important thing is to allow yourself to have the time. Allow yourself to embrace the change, because this is a great thing. It's fun. It's like learning a new language. You're learning the grocery store language. And on that note,
can I just jump in?
Take it away.
All right. Well, I also wanted to just say, I know you also made a comment about you're overwhelmed by the recipes and things like that. You know what? Forget them. Forget the recipes.
Yep.
I don't, unless I have the carnivores coming over, and I want to impress them with something, whatever. I don't go with recipes anymore. I keep in my refrigerator on the weekends. I have rice. I always have rice in my refrigerator at all times. I always have some kind of beans. I love all, pinto or black or kidney. I love them all. And I have one form of beans. So I cook the beans on the weekend, and I have a big pot of them. They last pretty much all week. Or I'll have some kind of grain, rice usually, or I like kamut. There's all different kinds of grains out there. But just stick with what you know right now. Something basic like rice, okay? Create a big pot of that. Then I cook a big pot of potatoes. I put them in my Instant Pot. If you don't have an Instant Pot, you can put them in and just boil them up, okay?
Bake them.
Bake them, too. I like them boiled. It's just the texture. It's a texture thing.
I like them baked.
There you go. So just have them cooked so that you can pull them out of the refrigerator and then use them. They're already pre-cooked, so you don't have to spend time cooking them. You can just chop them up, put them into a soup, make a soup. You can, throw into a pot all the veggies that you like and add some water, let it cook and simmer. Then add some seasonings that you like. Some onion powder, garlic powder, just some, like the Mrs. Dash seasonings. Keep it really, really simple in the beginning. You're going to find over time that you're going to find about 6-8 recipes that are your go-to. Like my husband, I don't know, what is he on, week 27? Of Mexican lasagna. I make that pretty much every weekend. My husband's not on weight loss, so I make him a tray of Mexican lasagna, which is a little bit higher caloric density, and he's happy with that. Because every Sunday I'll say, honey, what do you want for lunch? I'll make whatever you want. And he'll say, a Mexican lasagna. And I'll say, we've done that 27 weeks ago, He's like, no, I like it. So we make a batch of steel cut oats, and I put them into the jars. and they last all week. So,
yeah,
and we just did in the show with Kim Campbell, we just did a show and she did the mason jar oats. Okay. So there you go. Keep it simple. Don't go crazy.
I was just going to say.
Yeah. Don't go crazy with the recipes and trying to make something new and different every night. You'll make yourself nuts. Yeah. Okay?
Exactly. We don't do that. So Karen,
no.
We don't do that. We don't do that. This is like they say, I think, who is it that says, keep your life exciting and your food boring? I mean, it's truly what it is. I mean, like Karen, like Jean says, if we are going to do something, have friends over, we'll do the whole shebang with the fancy recipe. But it's soup. Nick makes a big pot of soup every week, and it's as basic as it can get. Jean, I want to address Nancy J. Bartlett's question real quick. She says she just started a starch-based diet about 2 weeks ago, but feeling like I'm gaining, feeling bloated, sad face. So, Nancy, how far are you into your starch-based journey? So this
is common. 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, but plant-based, I should say. So maybe you are just both plant-based and starch-based. So I know Jean can answer this. I can answer this. Do you want to attack this, Jean, on the ratio of starches and people that have not had this amount of fiber in their diet?
It takes a while because your body takes time to adjust to the amount of fiber that's in your body, without question.
Yeah, to heal.
Yeah, and you're pushing a lot of toxins out of your body, and you're going to feel some change, especially if you're eating beans and you're not used to eating beans. You're going to feel some bloating in there, but it's going to calm down and soothe. So just dial it down, and what you can do also is just try not to eat 27 different things. Try and have a couple of things and just stick with that until your body calms down. Foods that are easy to digest, like say rice, things like that, like apples, things like that are easy to digest, that are going to give you fiber, they're going to help push things through, but it will calm down and settle down.
Right. And that's the thing. One of the ladies that I coach here locally in Chico, she was brand new to this lifestyle. And like you, she went in, and about 6-8 weeks in, she was like, oh, I feel like the Goodyear blimp. I'm all bloated. But she was just eating beans galore, and she was having rice and very few greens. So I said, okay, I don't want you to have any rice, any beans, any starches for like 3 days other than from plant food. I want you to go ahead and have some lentils and things like that are they're high in fiber, but those got a good protein base. So I said, let's get the resistant starch down. So I had her go down to nothing for like 3 days, and then I brought her back in at about 1/4 cup a day for 2 or 3 days. And then I had her adjust to see how she was doing with her bowel movements and how her bloating was. And then she increased it, and now she's fine. And that took about 2 weeks, where she really increased her greens, really increased her salads, and she even increased her fruits during this time. Not like bananas, but she'd have a couple apples. And so she kind of got that starch ratio, fiber ratio brought down, and then just eased back into it. Because your colon, your small intestine, your large intestine is healing. And you're giving it a lot of fiber to deal with all at once. Right. We have another question. Yep. And so good job, Nancy. Congratulations on adopting a plant-based lifestyle. Your body's going to return great numbers, and you're going to feel amazing. It is a learning process, and it's adjusting the amount of starch and carbs and fiber until you get your body into healing mode.
Yep.
We have another question, but we have another question that came in from our Starch Queens page, and I'll read it, Jean, and then I'll turn it over to you to answer.
Okay.
What is ghee butter? Is it still considered dairy?
Okay. Well, ghee or G, however you want to pronounce it.
I've always heard it was called ghee. G-H-E?
I've heard it G. I've heard it ghee.
Yeah.
Tomato, whatever. It's a Sanskrit word that means sprinkled. And basically means that the milk fat is rendered from the butter to separate the milk solids from water. And it's made by melting. Yeah, it's melting the butter, skimming off the fat off the top, and what's left still is dairy. So,
yeah.
Dairy.
So, the research that I found is that Ghee is technically still a dairy product. It's clarified butter. Basically, this is always what grosses me out. Essentially, all milk solids are clarified out and sink to the bottom. What is left is pure butter oil. And what is oil? It's pure fat. And I was reading some of the research on this, and they were, trying the industry researchers were talking about how it's good for you, and it's pure fat. It's pure fat. There's nothing healthy about a pure fat.
Okay. So,
right.
Nancy, you signed up with Pure Haven Essentials again. So,
I did.
So
yes.
It's exciting because these whole products, all these products are not toxic for you. So if you need to get some products, Nancy can do it. You can change it.
My dog.
Nancy can take care of your needs, or myself. Either one of us can help you. But I just want to talk a little bit about one of my favorite products tonight is the toner. I use it for everything but toner for your face. It's a toner for your face, which it works great, but I don't use it for my face. I use it for everything else. For example, poison ivy. We got spring coming up, and I know. Why don't you go say hi to him, something? Let him know you're here. The toner is amazing. It is absolutely incredible. It calms. Anytime you have some kind of skin irritation, it's going to calm your skin down. There's a little devil. There we are. Okay. So, if, for example, poison ivy. What I do with poison ivy is I use the sugar scrub, and then I put toner on top of it after I've done the scrub to get the oils off. Then I use the toner to calm the skin down, and then I use the boo-boo stick for healing. But anytime you have some kind of irritation on your skin, like my husband had eczema, and we've been dealing with this for a while. So we'll take the sugar scrub it down, and then we use the toner to calm his skin down and let it dry. Oh my God, it's amazing. So I use it for so many, many things. Deodorant, it's also used for, I use it as a deodorant sometimes. And they've got a great deodorant, but I use it as a deodorant. So
That's
What's
awesome.
your favorite? What's your favorite product?
So I've been using Pure Haven, and I don't know if everybody knows that Pure Haven Essentials is a toxic chemical-free product line. So with that said, I love it because I don't like chemicals. But I have loved for a long time the Pure Haven Essentials Geranium Oil. As I always tell everybody, I seem to want to just tell the world that I'm postmenopausal. And when you're postmenopausal, it's like I survived. Dang it, I won.
Okay.
But what does that leave you with? A lot of times is dry skin. And when I went to my dermatologist not too long ago, I said, I eat a ton of greens, but I'm having some dry skin issues. And she says, well, you can use sunflower oil on your face. And I thought, well, I got geranium oil at home, and I know there's nothing weird in it because it's Pure Haven Essentials. So I like to use the geranium oil on my face. I use it on my arms. I use it under my arms after I shave, on my legs after I shave. And it's really good product. That's my favorite product for today to share is the geranium oil. It's good stuff, smells good.
It is. And Rhonda wanted to know where can we see these products. It's online. We're going to post the links so that hopefully we get credit for it. I mean, we use these products as a tool, and that's all it is. Because when you find something that really works, you just want to shout out to the world. I mean, we didn't go out looking for and to be part of, like, to say, buy this, buy this, buy this. No. That's not what we're about.
We're sharing information.
When we find something that we like to let people know about it.
Yeah,
and that's what this is. So
well, we also and I also use Honest Company. I like Honest Company shampoo and cream rinse because it's toxin free, and also, so it's not just Pure Haven Essentials, but we also want to showcase part of Starch Queens is, Jean, tell them what the trifecta is.
The trifecta is you have to change what goes in and on your body, and you also have to change what your exercise level. So you have to change those pieces, those three pieces to change. You have to change what goes in, like the food, the drink, and what goes on, because the toxins that are in personal care products are phenomenal. And I'm just going to
Yeah.
showcase one thing tonight, and then we got to go because it's already late. So one thing is parabens. Parabens are some nasty stuff. So it's a whole chemical family, and the parabens in these personal care products, I mean, it doesn't matter which one. If the ending is paraben, it's bad. There's methylparaben, butylparaben, propylparaben. It doesn't matter. Parabens, okay?
Parabens bad. Skull and crossbones.
Yeah. They mimic, what happens is they mimic estrogen. It's not, but your body thinks it's estrogen, and it's bioaccumulative, and it's going to have some kind of impact on your reproductive system, okay? Most commonly for women, it's going to express as breast cancer. I mean, there's other issues, okay? It's bioaccumulative, so it's building up over the years every time you're using these chemicals with it. So it's going to build up over the years. And it's going to express. So if it expresses as breast cancer, they're going to give you a drug called tamoxifen. Tamoxifen does not work well with parabens. And a lot of times they don't educate you or teach you about these things. So there we are. All right, yeah. Nancy.
All right.
Well, just a couple things. You've got a cooking class coming up in Chico.
I do. On Saturday, March 17th, Nick and I will be holding our batch cooking and storage extravaganza at the Dharma Center. Tickets are on sale. I will post a link if you're in Chico. Would love to have you come and see Nick and Nancy cooking in the kitchen. We love sharing the kitchen, and we'll teach you how to batch cook and how to store it. And we're really excited about that. So we'll put the link below. I'll put it in my Plant-Based Chico group and on my Facebook page. And again, that's on Saturday, March 17th. I'm also a guest speaker, guest host on Wednesday, March 14th on Jeannie Trezino's Non-Human Radio. So we'll be talking a lot about healthy living, animal activism, because we want to save and protect these little critters as much as we possibly can. And now, Jean, I want you to tell everybody about your awesome video series with Dr. Neil Barnard. But really quick, guess what I got in the mail this week?
What'd you get? Oh, well, hold it upside down, right?
I got the dog. I got the book.
He's got a new cookbook out, and it's awesome. I just got that one too.
And we just made a soup from it this weekend. It's wonderful. Drina Burton did all the recipes, and we all know that Drina Burton is amazing. So
she is.
Good job, Drina. So tell us about your video series.
So I've been doing this is my second now with Dr. Barnard. The first one we did was the cheese trap, and it's on the Starch Queens website. It's free. And it goes through, it's a 5-part series on the cheese trap, and it talks about all the issues with cheese, why it's so addicting and all of that. Now, we just started his next book. A next book that I started with him was called Power Foods for the Brain. Amazing book. If you have not read it, I can't say enough about this. This is a 6-part series. I just finished the second one, which I have to edit. And hopefully, my husband just said we've got power back at our house. Yay! So,
only to have another storm.
I know. There's another storm coming in tomorrow. I mean, we're supposed to get anywhere from like 10 to 14 inches of snow overnight.
Right. Okay, so for those of you guys who don't know, Jean's on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast. So Jean has been without power since when, Jean?
Friday.
They got hammered with that winter cyclone.
Yep, we did. We really did. So anyway, we got another huge storm coming in. But hopefully tomorrow, if I still have internet, I'm going to work on editing the second one and get that up on YouTube. And I just finished another series. We just did another show with Kim Campbell called Plant-Based Living with Kim Campbell. So that is also, I just posted that on my YouTube channel today. So, and I will be putting that on the Starch Queens and Plant-Based Westchester Facebook pages. So,
all right.
And we have a article that just came out in Veg World magazine. Wow. If you haven't seen this, oh my God, we were crying. We were just in tears.
It's pretty amazing.
It was a beautiful, beautiful article that they wrote about us. And it was like, wow, this is,
It's a Veg World magazine is an online digital magazine, and the subscription is worth every cent. The content in the magazine is phenomenal, fantastic articles, education. If you haven't subscribed to Veg World magazine, you really should. It's worth every cent. I have that one, and Naked Food. We are being also featured in Naked Food magazine in the, I think in the next issue. So that's coming up. We're excited about that. Also, they're print magazine and digital.
And I want to give a shout out to, if you don't know who Lori Fried is, she was in the McDougall Friends group for a long, long time, and she wrote these absolutely magnificent
Oh my God.
posts.
Make you bawl.
I know, just really, really touch you. And now she's the editor at the Veg World magazine, and I got to put a shout out to Kathy Caton Grassini, she's got Kathy's Prescription Kitchen, who is absolutely incredible. If you don't know, I've gone to her house. She lives in Ridgefield, Connecticut. She does cooking classes out of her house. She's now the food editor for this magazine.
That's
Perfect.
amazing.
Because if you go on Plant-Based Westchester, she has got a ton of these. Just type in her name, and she's got amazing pictures. She's an artist. Her husband does the photography. She does the cooking, and the two of them together are artists.
Phenomenal.
She is a gourmet cook. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And she's now the cooking editor. It's like, oh, they got the perfect person right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it when the universe comes together, when somebody can do what they love for a living.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Rhonda's asking if we can post the names of the magazines. We absolutely can. Veg World, and then Naked Food. NAKED, Naked Food Magazine, and Veg World. Okay, another thing is, if anybody is new to this lifestyle, want to lose weight, or if you've been in this lifestyle and you're struggling with your carb and your calorie density and you're not losing weight, or you want to have coaching through transition from a standard American diet to a plant-based diet, Jean and I, the Starch Queens, can help you do that. If you're interested, go to our website, sqweightloss.com. All one word, sqweightloss.com. We can get you to your right size body. We can get your health back. We can help you reach your healthy destination. That's our mission in life. That's what we do. That's why we're here. If you can help us out, and please share this video or share this live broadcast, because Jean and I have dedicated our life to helping share the truth. Now, I want to say that again, the truth about nutrition. I want everybody watching this to watch the documentary Forks Over Knives, and then I want you to watch the documentary What the Health, because this is what we're doing. And you can always reach out to Jean and I. We're always approachable. Nancy Norby Matthews on Facebook. Jean, you say you're I had to recreate
a new persona because my Facebook got hacked, my account. So my maiden name is Surprenant, which in French means surprising, which I thought was an awesome name for me, because you never know what's going to be around with me, because it's a surprise. You just never know. So it's Jean. The American version is Supernaut, and then Schumacher. So, but plant-based Westchester, plant-based Chico, join us. Love to have you.
And then you can always find us on our website, starchqueens.net, where we have wonderful educational videos that Jean has done and now are on Dr. McDougall's website, but there's resource, there's education. So that is a lot of content that's on our Facebook page, or excuse me, our website, that you can watch videos, and they're point and click. You can go down Dr. McDougall's website and all of PCRM, and then you can spend days learning about a whole months learning about a whole food plant-based lifestyle.
I've spent literally weeks and weeks and weeks building this website. So.
Yep. And it shows. So we want to thank everybody. Please share this before we end so other people can learn. And again, next Tuesday, we will not have Jean because it's spring break. She is going to be up at her beautiful home on Cape Cod that Nick and I had the pleasure of spending a week with her last year. So she'll be up in Cape Cod. Next week, it'll just be me for Talking Tuesday with the Queen of Hearts. So put your questions on our Facebook page. You can private message them to me, and I will take your questions and spend time with you. And I'm looking forward to it. Have a high five.
High five.
This is our virtual high five. Okay, love you all. Have a wonderful day. Okay, this is it. I got it. There she goes. Last week I wanted to do role play, and I told her today, I said, I'm going to do some role playing, and she said no. Dang it, I wanted to role play. I was going to be the grocer. I was going to be the grocer, and she was going to be the shopper. But anyway.
All right.
Night, everybody. John boy. Good night.